Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. So if you're facing any problem regarding sound or anything, you can just reach in the chat section. So today we're going to do Villa configuration. And so in case you have an issue, like you have a question, concern, you can, maybe something that you need me to address, you can reach in the chat section or raise your hand. So just give me a few minutes before we dive into the configuration for Villa Station, and this is just going to be an easy configuration and easy setup.
Yeah.
So a Villa configuration is a part of the video intercom. So for Dahua technology, generally we have two main aspects of video intercom. That is configuration for the Villa side and configuration for the apartment side. So let me just go a bit brief of theoretical aspect of it. So for those of us maybe from the sales side who don't understand video intercom, so basically video intercom is a technology where you have to do communication, that is in terms of sound and picture, without necessarily using the internet. And as Dahua, we provide a solution for the video intercom in various aspects. So for the case study for today is an for Villa scenario where you're having a home case. So like you have a home case and just need to do a bit configuration for that home to enable communication with it within the home side. Apart from that, we provide also different kind of products for the different kinds of application. That is in terms of villa and both villa and apartment. So for villa and apartment, we have different kinds of product, different kind of design, etc., etc. So it's now upon you to be able to decide which product you feel like it's okay with you, and you feel like by design, by operation, you can work with it very well. So this the solution I'm displaying on the screen at the moment is just for apartment case. So that is the apartment case where you are encompassing a video intercom, CCTV, access control system in the barriers and parking management system. So let me just confirm something before we use it. So apart from that, we also provide solution for smart villa. So smart villa solution is a kind of solution where you are having integration of not only video intercom products, but also integration of alarm systems. So we're going to do a bit of a theory, get to know the products for the various solutions before we go into now the actual configuration, which should not take much of a time. So challenges for maybe a smart villa scenario include a case where somebody is saying that they can't find their keys. Scenarios where you can't be able to know who's coming at your place. So in terms of not necessarily using CCTV, because at times CCTV and play products are a bit far. So you might need sometimes to be able to talk to the partner and everything. And maybe there's some trouble opening the door, and then can't see the indoor situation. So that also provides a solution for the villa, and maybe some of the advantages that we can check the advantages later, and maybe some of the application scenarios for our villa, smart villa configuration include situations like balcony, garage, fences, swimming pool. So it's not only video intercom, but we'll get to know the products that are available for that scenario. So we have entrance for this villa configuration. So the entrance means in terms of the place where people are coming in through, that is the gate. So for villa scenarios, we have products for villa, and the recommended products for such case include this outdoor, this black one. So we have the products for such case. That is for the entrance and exit. So apart from that, we also have the outdoor. So we have the outdoor guarding scene. That is you want to do monitoring or you're trying to do doing something like perimeter protection in the outdoor scene. So we also have products that are recommended for such scenario, including swimming pool products, cameras for perimeter protection, fence, guarded. And for such case, we have this kind of cameras. So these cameras have, they're called active deterrence cameras series, or most likely the TIOC series. So the cameras have built-in spotlight and security siren. So not necessarily, you don't necessarily need to have an alarm system different or a different alarm system. You can have these cameras which have siren and can also do perimeter protection. So from the indoor side, you get to monitor everything. So we have the three kind of series cameras. So if you're going to purchase cameras for such scenarios, for the outdoor case, look for cameras that have starting with the number 5. Then for indoor side, look for cameras that start with number 3. So the system architecture includes, so by design, how does the system look like? So you have like a monitoring, a normal TV, you can use it for monitoring with the NVR, a switch. If you are using a switch or a router, you can use the router to access the cameras individually on your mobile phone. And now the video intercom part of it. So now the video intercom part of it. So for video intercom, we have different kinds of video intercom, but these are just a very few part of it. So we have different kinds, like you see these two. The difference is that this one is a Vandal-Proof video intercom. So that means it's very strong. People cannot try to destroy it or try to steal it. So by design, it's made to be like that. So this one is a Vandal-Proof video outdoor station. There's just a normal video outdoor station. Okay, so you can apart from that, we also provide different types, including different kits. So maybe the next time we are going to do products. So next time I'm going to do products training that is for the sales-oriented guys, because this one is a more of a so this one is a more of a technical part of it. So I think I'm just going to dive in direct. So at my point, I have for video intercom Villa scenario, I have 3 devices. So I have two indoor stations, and the model is like this. And there's also one outdoor station called a VTO. So it has not started yet. I've just reset it at this moment. So the 2 indoor station and the one outdoor station is connected with a switch. So the model of switch is called a VTNS 1060A. And maybe some of the challenge that people have been facing quite some time while doing products or maybe configuration is that in terms of power. So you might purchase a product, then you go to the site and then you realize that it's not powering on. So we have products that are that use. So we have products that use a switch, that is the VTNS, and we have products that use a standard PoE switch. So if you see on the screen, we have. Let me just take an example for this screen that I'm using. So for this screen, if we check the screen, we have different models, and just a minute before it loads. So let me just use it here, because you see we have two models, VTH. This is just an example, VTH 2421 FB, and we have VTH 2421 FB. The difference you can see is something called dash P with this one, and this one you can see there's no P. So the implication is that any of our product for video intercom with a hyphen P means it supports standard PoE switch, means you can use any standard PoE switch to power this device. Whereas any device with without the P hyphen P, that product you can't use a standard PoE switch because you have to use a Dahua switch. So there's a specific kind of switch for this scenario, and this applies to both the also to the outdoor stations. So if you see a dash P, it supports any standard PoE switch. So you can use a third-party standard PoE switch or a Dahua standard PoE switch. So away from that, we go now to. So you can see I have three devices. So the 3 devices are 2 VTH, that is the indoor station, and 1 VTO. And all of them are uninitialized, meaning that there's no password set or username or anything or email set. So I'm going to use config tool for the same. And with initializing the VTH, just select the model, then click the initialize button. So if you're going to initialize let's say you're doing apartment configuration, if you want to do batch initialization, ensure they're the same category, because if you select also the VTO and try to initialize, you'll get an error that the product needs to be on the same category. So initialize only the same type products first. So for VTH, they take numbers as their password. I'm setting the password as 123456. So I won't set an email. And then you'll see, if initializing successful, you see that you'd have a tick on the same. Next, I'm going to initialize the VTO. So just initialize. We're going to set the password now as alphanumeric, admin123. And also without an email address. So after doing that, the devices are initialized, and maybe something else to point out. So for devices to be able to work together, they need to be like in the same firmware group. So if you see a version 4 for the indoor station and the outdoor station, version 4 point something, that version they're interoperable, means they can work together, means they support SIP. So I'll do configuration of the VTH at first. So I'll go to the config tool on the left side, select configuration. And let me show you something. If I try to fetch this information here, it will try to prompt it will tell me to input the password. So give me a bit. I change my local NIC IP address. So I'm just setting my IP address to be in the same network segment as the device. So if I double click now, it will tell me to input the password. So the easiest way to just fix this one, just input the password at this point here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the password for the VTH. Now, if I double click on the VTH, the VTH will give me the information. So this one of the VTH, and I'm going to set the room number. One of them will be 9901#0. The other will be 9901#1. So 2 room numbers. And regarding the other configuration, so if for the SIP server, I'm going to say the SIP server will point to the VTO IP address. So I'm going to point it at this IP address here, 1.55. So this 155 should be here. So 1.155. Port by default is 5060. It is 58 if you're going to do configuration with the DSS server. So the SIP rem, set it as VDP. Login user, set it just as admin, and the other one as admin. So you config successfully. You can apply these settings to the other VTH without necessarily configuring it, repeating the same information. So next, I'm going to the network terminals. And the network terminals basically is, if you want to monitor the VTO without necessarily calling it and unlock the door, you have to set the settings here, and you need to enable it and set the IP address of the VTO. set that is the username and and password for the video, which is admin123. Then you click save. Other thing you can do, just only apply to the other VTH. So after that, we configure this other VTH room number. So we go to the network tab, we give it a #1. So each room number needs to have its own. Each room number needs to have its own, or each VTH needs to have its own unique room number. That is the identification of it in the SIP side. So that is all from this side. And of course, this information that I'm doing, this configuration that I'm doing using config tool, you can access it on the screen of the VTH. So this. So we can check password admin123 VTO enabled. So now I'm going to take you through the web interface of the VTO. So basically, that's the information that you need to configure for the VTH side. So for the web interface of the VTO, you need to enter the IP address of the VTO on the web page. Oh, sorry, the VTO IP address is 72. Sorry for that. So here will be 72, the config tool. So instead of 155, it's supposed to be 72 to point the IP address of the VTO. Also for the terminals. So we apply it, and so now you can hear unlocks. So at this point, you should be able to unlock your VTO from the VTH, that is the Indo side. So now for the web interface configuration of the VTO. And by default, if you just initialize the device and set that information, it should work. That's by default. But for troubleshooting purposes, and also for case when you need to understand how everything operates, so if you just initialize the device, and if you just initialize the device, set the SIP server with the config tool, everything should work like it's okay like that, just like that working. But for cases where you're experiencing issues like that, now we go into the web interface side. So from the web interface, you have different kinds of web interface. This one means that it supports SIP. And I log into the VTO. So if you see a bluish interface, navy blue interface, that one is a SIP web interface. That is the device it supports SIP. So when you log in, the first interface, we have the building number. So this one is not, if you are doing configuration for For apartment, we'll have these values. You can set these values, but we are doing a configuration for villa. So we have only villa and then the VTO numbers. And the other option is this one, just the basic information. Then the other option is called local setting at the menu. So the local settings will help you set which room number should be called. So remember, in our room numbers, we set them as 9901 #0 and 9901 #1. So the 9901 #0 and #1 means from this side, by default, if you call you press the button on the VTO, it should call this 9901. So all the screens with #0 #1 and the prefix of 9901 will be called. The next is the call center. So if you have a VTS in your system, you'll use the call center. It is the call, that is the room number of the call center. Anything else? We have now the video and audio. So you can change the video and audio parameters so that you can, if you're doing remote configuration, bandwidth consumption will be less. Sorry for the interruption. So apart from this tab, we have the other tab that is the video and audio. So video and audio will help you to configure try to reduce those parameters so that if you're going